All right, so we have like a medium garden, and every year I am tardy to the party on getting things planted. It's typically because I end up having to go buy plants at the store that cost way too much because our growing season is so short. So I was super excited that Hugbow sent me their self-watering complete kit. This is like basically two contained starter boxes. It comes with the heating mats and the UV lights. So it's everything I'm gonna need to get 80 started. I'm gonna start with like my melons because these are gonna take the longest to grow. And I'm gonna do 80 at a time. And I think I have enough time to then plant these in pots and then start another batch of things that aren't gonna take as long to grow in the garden. And I'm just gonna rotate out like that. And hopefully I'll have a full garden by June. If you think about it, every year I was spending like $2 to $6 on an already started plant. Well, a whole pack of seeds is like $2.99. So to have a system like this at home that I can do myself and get as many little seedlings as I want started in the long run is gonna save me a ton of money. So let's get this set up, and I'm gonna start with the melons and I'll show you how it works. Okay, I picked out my seeds. I'm gonna do 8 different types for this first batch, and that's gonna give me 10 of each seedling. It comes with 10 different label sticks. So what I'm gonna do, because I'm gonna do this in batches, is I'm going to cover these with some painter's tape so I can write what the seeds are on it and then take these off and use them again. So we're gonna plant these. I'm gonna do all my labels first and then get it all set up. So I'm using seed starting mix, and I found that the best way to do this was just to make a big old pile and then level it out with my hand so it got into all the little boxes. I did write start on one end so I knew which way my seeds were going, and then I made sure that the label was pointing outwards. So now I'm going to set up the water portion. It comes with these little bases that you put in, and then you put the little soaking wicking mats on top. And then you want to make sure that these go all the way across, but then one end of them is all the way to the bottom of the pan so that they're going to wick up all the water. So I'm just showing you here how they should look. And then you want to soak the mats really, really nicely, as well as have a level of water on the bottom. So that's what I'm doing here. You can either pre-soak them and put them on, or I just used a pitcher and I made sure I soaked the mats really, really well before I added more water to the bottom of the tray. And then that way they're nice and wet, and the humidity and moisture will be perfect for when I put the plants in on these. So let me just show you how it looks. So I have the mat soaking in the bottom and then that level of water all along the bottom of the larger tray. And then I'm just going to set the trays in. I love that these are not flimsy at all. Like, they're full of dirt and they're a little bit bendy, but not flimsy. Like, you could totally carry them from room to room. So I'm going to set these in here before I start planting. And then I decided I was just going to spray the dirt before I began to put my seeds in. So I just have a little hairspray bottle. This is just filled with water, and I'm just wetting down the soil, and then I'm gonna plant all my seeds. So I'll show you here really quick. I did plant every single one of these. They come with really cute little tools. You get a little shovel and a little like pokey thing that I used. I didn't actually use a shovel. I used the little pokey thing to make holes in the little pockets so I could put all my seeds in there. And I think here I'm planting, I believe these were onions. And I originally started with one hole, and then I realized, you know what? The onions are so little when they come up, I want multiple. So I poked a bunch of little holes and did multiple ones per square. So I'm going to get lots of little onion starts that I can put outside in the garden when I'm ready. So to finish out the tray, I did my melons, and I just poked one hole because I don't want a ton of melons out in I don't have enough room for that. So that's what I'm doing here, just one hole in each. Here's the lids. They have these little vents that you pop in the little middle thing into the hole here, and then you can turn these to let humidity out. Or keep it in, depending. I would suggest I put it down and then I kind of put it on the edge of the table and push down to get that little nubby thing to pop in. So I'm just assembling the lids here. I just wanted to show you really quick what I did to pop the little vents. I put it flat on the table and then I press down and then they pop in so they're nice and secure and won't fall out. So I think I'm gonna set these downstairs. What I like about them is they're pretty solid. Like, I do have the water in it, but they're not flimsy. I could hold it from the middle. So I do like that the little plastic stuff on here is pretty sturdy. It's not like that flimsy plastic. So I'm gonna go set these downstairs with the lights on them and the heat mats and show you what that setup looks like. It also does come with a soil tester, and this will test, you can actually use this outside too. It tests for like the moisture level, the pH level, and the light level. I'll have to play around with that a little bit more, but it does also come with one of those, so I thought that was pretty cool. Okay, here they are all put together, set up downstairs. They're each on their own separate warming mat. These just plug in. They're warm to the touch, not hot at all, and they are waterproof, which is nice. The lights themselves, you get 2 for each top, but they all connect to the one controller here. What I love about this is they snap on into the top, so they're not going to roll off, and they're going to stay exactly where you need them in place. The controller here has the off and on. It does have a timer, so you can set it for 3 hours, 9 hours, or 12 hours, which is nice. And then it does have several different light types, which you're going to cycle through here. So depending on what the needs of whatever you planted are, you can cycle through the lights, and then you can change the intensity of the light with that little guy up at the top. This is just a really, really cool setup. I'm really excited to see my plants germinate in here and get them planted this summer. I hope that was a helpful rundown of this kit, and I'm really excited to continue to use it.